Hey everyone, it's Mace1370. Today we're going to do the Guild War matches for our match against Deviants. We actually fought them a couple weeks ago, so fun to play them again. And I was on the stream for D-Nice earlier today, and he got to take out my tower, so that was exciting. So we're going to return the favor. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so this is the first match against JGXO. I forgot to capture the intro screen. Against his team, I decided to bring Flurry. The idea was to defense break and provoke Alencia, so of course that got resisted. And this puts me in a little bit of a pickle because if I was able to provoke her, I could throw up all of Diane's buffs and probably just take her out before she could get around to her S3. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do now that Alencia is going to use her S3 on me. I think the best idea is to hold the buffs and just wait for her to cycle around. My little Queen Charlotte still has immunity, so T-Surin's S3 ability will not be able to put Unbuffable on her. My Diane has high ER, so I don't have to really worry about her, and I don't really care if Falcon or Clury gets debuffed by T-Surin. So I just go ahead and skill 1 and then let the enemy team cycle. So I actually took quite a bit of damage there. I debate about S3 on the FCC, but I'm a little greedy and I decided to hold it for attack buff. I also wanted to put immunity back up on my little Queen Charlotte.
Grant me the power to extinguish the evil.
So that she wouldn't get provoked, etc. But this means that my LQC was pretty low health and almost dies, but that's okay. She didn't actually die, she just almost died. So here I decide to skill 3 the FCC just to heal her all the way back up. I also don't want to hit Alencia and give her Mind's Eye. I'm just going to ignore her until I can get my Falcon or Clury's S3 back, and you know, we'll just restart the process, so I just kind of have to tank for a little while.
I hope this job is a little easier.
My F Clury is pretty fast and got a nice CR boost there, so I'm turn cycling around to my skill 3 pretty fast. And this T-Surin is proccing Gab, which is very uncool. So my bird is back up. I'm going to try again onto the Alencia. And of course she resists the provoke, which is just awesome. But at least the defense break landed this time. So I can go into the defense break and hopefully do a good amount of damage. I debate about hitting her here with Falcon or Clury, but I kind of don't want to give her Mind's Eye, and I'm not going to kill her anyways, so I just decided to hit FCC instead.
The flowers are withering. I will guide you through the light.
This would have been a lot smoother if Falcon or Clury had just done her job in the beginning.
Got it, Flurry? Just like we practiced.
Thankfully my team has a lot of sustain, so I can tank the damage for the most part as long as I have to. Although it was a little dicey there with little Queen Charlotte at the end.
I believe this is what the goddess wills.
Or in the beginning, I should say. I debate about putting up the buffs. Instead, I just decide to bury her, and then I can burn onto my skill 3 next time to just reduce the cooldown for everything and maximize the healing output from Diane.
Let's advance together.
And I thought Alencia will probably just die before she can get her S3 off, so I went ahead and put up attack buff on everybody. And now I can burn into Alencia and make sure that she doesn't resist this time. And I should do that because she has her skill 3 and I don't want her to take all the buffs off. So now she is safely defense broken and provoked, and my Clury has plenty of buffs, so she'll have no problem tanking her.
I will guide you through the light. My throne, my land is
Now my LQC can soul burn into FCC and just finish this off pretty quickly. the new splash damage on Little Queen Charlotte's pretty cool. I think it can kill through skill null. I think T-Cern was probably at like 20 or 30 HP there. It's a weird interaction. I believe when I was in RTA a while ago, one of my T-Cern I think got killed through skill null because of the splash damage. Alright, so against this team, the enemy has Basar, so I brought Red Ravi just because she's opposite element, and a good bruiser against Last Rider Crow. So she can take out the Basar and then the Last Rider Crow, just kind of at bruiser pace. I brought Blue Crow because he'll be able to soak up a bunch of the damage from LR Crow's S3, and then it'll enable his horse pretty quickly. And then Ruel just to tank the Rylet. So this is a really low-risk team. I think, you know, hypothetically you could get triple crown stunned 2 times in a row by Basar, and that would be really unlucky and probably put you pretty far behind.
Let's go. I'm charging.
Crow's horse is a really good way of dealing with Rylet in Guild War. So you just kind of wait for him to get low enough, and then you just take out the Rylet in one shot. And you don't have to worry about his passive ability proccing his, you know, huge S3 on somebody.
Now isn't the time to hesitate.
And Ruel is able to tank him no problem with, you know, an Aureus Holder and defense buff.
Prepare yourselves.
I debated about using skill 3 on the Ravi here, but I didn't want to reset LR Crow's cooldown any, and there's really no need to. I'm going to win if I just keep skill 1ing.
If you're ready, let's go.
I decided to give it another turn cycle on the Crow before I horse, because I don't think I have enough damage to kill Rylet yet.
Fortune will favor us. Grant me strength.
Over here.
And here, Rylet gets a dual attack, which is actually perfect because that'll put my Crow at low enough health to be able to take him out with horse. So Rylet down, and now it's just Last Rider Crow versus the rest of my team, and he's not a threat at all at this point.
Fortune will be on our side today as well.
Shall we bring this to a close?
I like Ravi to deal with him because she has a lot of self-healing, so she's able to mitigate a lot of the damage he puts out with his skill 3. She also has a powerful single target soul burn, so she's able to pump out damage without reducing his cooldown. Alright, so that was round 1. Here's my second match. This is against their stronghold, King Lee. So I used the Spectre Tenebria, Ruel, Blue Crow comp here, which is a pretty standard one for me. The opponent doesn't have great reach into S10, so she's safe for the most part. The only real threat is Charles randomly, you know, proccing into her somehow. And you have Ruel to res her if, you know, something really horrible happened.
Don't come near me.
I like Blue Crow here because he's able to tank the Charles and, you know, get low enough to potentially horse. If you wanted to be super safe, you would not skill 3 there, but I was impatient, so I just let it rip. And then I threw up defense buff on everybody. LQC on defense is interesting. I'm always afraid she's going to be Omega high damage or something. She did, you know, a good chunk there. But I didn't give her a dark target to hit, so she's not going to splash. And the FCC actually does a ton of damage. And so I think, okay, Crow is in a good spot now to horse. He's extremely low.
You want to try me?
And I actually have to hope that my Spectre Tenebria does not splash into the LQC here, because then she would CR push her up, and LQC would kill the Crow most likely.
Let's go.
So my Crow being almost dead, he's able to horse into the Charles. He misses, which is unfortunate, so he doesn't kill, but he mostly kills. And this Charles comes back. This is a impressive Charles. He does a good amount of damage, and he's pretty tanky. So crowd down, but that's okay. We have Ruel.
I swear.
She may have fallen off in the RTA meta a little bit, but she's still amazing in Guild Wars.
You aren't even fit to kiss my feet.
And now we can just clean up with Spec Tenny.
Not bad.
So now Charles is dead. There's literally no way that we can die at this point.
Shall I have a go? March.
Don't worry. I'm sure fortune will be on our side today as well. Grant me strength. Excuse me. But you must be finished.
I think they need to make some changes to Guild Wars to make it a little bit more interesting. They could potentially give the defensive team a minor stat bump, just to make them more challenging and make up for the scripted AI nature of the fight,
Now isn't the time to
and make it
hesitate.
harder.
Shall we begin?
But it doesn't really change the ultimate problem, which is that the AI is just totally predictable, and so the essence of the gameplay is very simple.
You aren't even fit to kiss my feet. You want to
Also,
tell me?
everybody has so many, Moonlight 5 heroes now that have really strong, niche scenarios that they can essentially, craft a team that is very easy to beat yours in almost any situation. Like, there's essentially no team you can run on defense that is not easily beaten by something.
If you're ready.
And because people have so many heroes now, they almost always have that something.
Fortune will favor us. Not bad. Is that all you've got? At least try to make it fun.
Alright, so FCC finally goes down. That's match 1.
It can't be helped.
Alright, so against round 2 here, this is the Cerise Tea Time RB comp, which is getting, pretty popular. The problem I think with this comp is that it's rather low damage because your only source of damage is RB. So I guess if he gabs a lot, you could put your opponent in a tricky situation. You're really fingers crossing that your tea time puts defense break on everyone. So here you can see that two of my heroes got defense broken. But even with that, there's just not enough damage to kill. And Zerato just cycled right out of it. And FCC has a ton of HP still.
But oh well.
I'm debating if I want to kill the tea time or the RB. I decided just to go with the tea time, since she's going to have a turn, before RB will.
Are you prepared for this?
And RB's essentially dead anyways.
Don't waste my time.
I didn't think a skill 1 from Zerato could kill tea time. This way we take both out. And then that triggers ML haste passive.
This way.
You are not worthy of my courtesy. I don't have the time.
I kill Cerise here because she's going to lap the RB and then just pull him in with another attack.
I'll show you what a genius can do.
I'm growing tired of this act.
Shall we go to the land speed?
So yeah, I think if the stars go right for you, this team can win on defense. And I suppose that's the best you can ask for. Alright, so that is the end of round 2.
How I made everyone kneel before me.
Okay, so here's round 3. I went against D-Nice since he was nice enough to hit my tower this morning. And I'm going to use the exact same team he used against me because we have the same team on our round 1 here with Tempest Surin, Landy, and FCC. So according to D-Nice, this works every time, and the only way it fails is if the Surin resists your Bazaar or Dream Blaze or something like that. And of course that's what happens to me.
Scared, are you?
So normally Surin is stripped here, so you're able to burn the Landy, or sorry, burn your ML Lulu and just take out the Surin right away.
Do this.
And then your Spectani can take out the Landy. But since Surin has a barrier, my ML Lulu will not kill her. with the Soulburned S1. So I'm looking at the turn order here, and I decide that it's better for me to hit the Landy, and then my plan is I'm going to ignore the Surin for now and use Basar to debuff her and kind of keep her damage under control. Take out the Landy as soon as possible, and then once the shield drops off the Tempest Surin, I can kill her with my ML Lulu.
You aren't even fit to kiss my feet.
So here I'm going to S3 the Landy to finish her off, and more importantly push back the Tempest Surin. So that'll push her back, and now my Basar can take a turn before her and put up his debuffs. And I got lucky and got both of them on her, so she has hit down and also attack down. And now I'm going to do some damage to FCC, and this will make the barrier fall off of T-Surin eventually in 2 turns, because FCC will put the barrier on herself instead. And the debuffs from Basar will likely keep her damage in check, even though my team is super squishy. I'm a little nervous here that my Spectre Tenebria will do enough damage to the T-Surin to knock her into stealth and cleanse her off, but luckily the barrier's enough. So I didn't want to Soulburn there for that reason. And my ML Lulu is coming up and I have souls, so I'm just going to skill on the FCC, and now I can burn my ML Lulu and finish off the T-Surin, which is what I wanted to do at the beginning of the match.
Let's get warmed up.
Not bad. All right, let's do this. Complete. You're not scared.
And then we're easily able to finish off the FCC.
But you're no match for me.
So fun comp, and it's even more exciting when Basar gets resisted. Alright, so round 2 is essentially the same thing as the Stronghold. I guess it's exactly the same thing. Here we get to see what happens if the enemy lands a little bit more debuffs.
I have prepared a wonderfully cruel fairy tale for you.
So T-Time uses her S3, she gets buff block up on both ML Haste and my Fallen Cecilia, and that's the scary one. Buff block and defense break, and of course she gets the defense break on Champion Zerato, but he is able to hang on thanks to Aureus from Fallen Cecilia, the passive on ML Haste, which I think has a Adamant Shield-like effect, and he's wearing Proof of Valor as well. He's also 15k HP and 1500 defense, so he's pretty thick. And here you can see RB Gabs, and that's a lot of damage.
Only a temporary alliance.
But T-Time is down, and our Zerato is at full health.
Would you like to be my next hand? Help.
ML Haste is able to strip off the invincibility there, but it doesn't really matter. Another Gab.
My time.
So this is kind of what you want to have happen if this is your defense team, is just gabbing literally every single turn, landing all of your debuffs. If you do that, you can take out some units. But we were still able to get the W. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Later.